So this is the old chair I used to use in the house for my computer. It's the one I added the wooden handles for when the rubber ones were bad. The reason it came out of the house was the padding is pretty much done. There used to be some, it's now pretty much fully squished. We got this ages ago at a furniture store that was going out of business. There's no labels anywhere on that I can see to try and order a new seat. But this is the old seat from my current computer chair, and the foam is somewhat worn out on it as well. However, there's still more foam here than on that seat. So I'm wondering, I realize that it probably will not directly fit because it's different shape, but I'm wondering if I can take this apart and somehow get that apart and add this foam under there to just give it a little bit more life, make it slightly more comfortable to sit in. That's what we're going to try. So first I have to take the chair apart. That wasn't too bad. I've taken this apart before, so take all the pieces apart. That didn't go too bad, other than some of these bolts that hold the riser piece onto the seat. Screw portion is kind of stripped out. And then taking this plastic thing off, there were just 2 staples and some screws. So now that's off, and let's do a comparison here. So if we look at the front, you can see how this one is much thinner than this. I just got a replacement seat for this one on the chair I'm actively using, so I know this foam is pretty much done, but this is more than done. So we'll see if it may be when I take this apart, this isn't usable at all. So now that I've gotten this one down, I'll take the quasi replacement one apart and see what state of the foam. It may not even be worth trying to stick in here, in which case I'll save myself work on taking the actual chair seat apart. So let's see how that goes. Now I'll try and take the staples out. I started with just the pliers. That didn't work. That was painful after a while. So then I went to this method. That was a little bit better, but then the screwdriver and hammer were definitely the way to go. That was definitely the way to go. And then using the board to pry with the pliers once I had them tilted some, that worked really good. That's much easier using the screwdriver than trying to use my hand. My hand was starting to get sore, but with the screwdriver and hammer, that worked a lot better. One thing I notice is there's little bits of foam that's coming off. I'm not sure how much of that is just from the foam disintegrating or just its age or what, but I do at least have all the staples out. The other thing I noticed is on the bottom of the one I just replaced, and the reason I'm doing this today is my new seat just arrived today from the manufacturer for the chair I'm currently using. So this one was from March 2019, and the one on the chair that was in the garage has a August 2008 date. So that would be why that one is much more squished than this one. So let's see how bad this looks. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, it's not great. You can see the foam is starting to fall apart and such, but it's the memory foam stuff, so it still has some squish and give. And I guess this is the back of the seat. This is the front. So yeah, it's not great, but it's not completely dead. It's close. It's not good enough to use as a computer chair anymore, but it might be okay if I can jam it in there. That would give that slightly more give than 2008. Now I guess I get to see if I can take that one apart. So now I'm taking the other seat apart. Luckily I know how to do it, and it went much better. This seat had less staples and was put together a little bit better. The staples were good. I don't know. Well, the one from 2008 had less staples, and it also has this weird tie that goes down through, and I am wondering if that is what helps tie this down in the chair. That'll be interesting to see. So I'm probably going to still have to take that off. But let's see how it looks. There's way less foam bits around the edge. So let me see if I can take this off more and then see if that's, if that's what that is. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to take that off, but we'll see. Yep. Those are attached. So I marked them, and there's way less foam bits inside this cover as well. I think part of the reason for that is this is just regular furniture foam versus memory foam stuff. So obviously furniture foam isn't great. It seems like it degrades a whole lot less than the memory foam does. So I may be better off just getting some furniture foam for on here. I came this far I'll see if I can get that off and see what it looks like if I set it on top of this. That should be interesting.
Now to pry the foam off. That works pretty well with a drywall tool.
Okay, well that came off. And I see what the foam has done in some of the spots. I think when it was new, the bottom was locked in tight to the back, and then as it has aged, it has separated and split as it got squished. So I think that's where a lot of the crumbs and stuff came from. So when you squish it, this would tend to come apart. And as soon as it started doing that, it would have lost some of its cohesion. So now I guess let's see if I can stack this on top of that. I don't know how well that's going to work. I think I see a slight problem. Problem being, obviously because of the shape of the seat pan and the fact that that cloth thing is horrible and lets all sorts of mess through and such, I'd rather use the original chair seat. But problem with that is it was designed for the original height of the foam, not double the height. So that's going to be a fun challenge to even see if it would go over. I may still be dumb and try it anyway, just because I can. I should have stuck with making boxes. Boxes! I have the top edge piece, so I have the tops and the sides and everything. These are the top side edges all trimmed to rough length, and then I need to, and I have no idea where, oh there it is. I need to then come back and trim that pattern in on all of them so that they'll fit around the top edge and the lids will fit, but I didn't get to there, and I figured, okay, well, I'll just try a quick thing. Yeah, it's never quick. But I just figured I'll try a quick thing since I had the replacement seat, and I've been wondering about this anyway. That's why I'm not working on boxes. I will try to see if I can get that to work. Now, what I will probably also do before I do that is I will trim off this extra edge first, because that will make for a shorter pad, and every little bit helps to try and get that to actually fit on there. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
First I tried with the knife, then just used my little saw, and that worked good. And then tried to see if that would fit. Poked holes through, got it down. Realized if I'm going to do this, I have to kneel on it. Got it all set up. Luckily I brought the staples over, otherwise I would have been frustrated because I had to put more staples in a few times. But it actually worked. I was surprised.
Well, both are in and it's stapled. I'm not sure how well those are going to hold, but I'm going to put the rest of the stuff back on.
Alright, now that I got that on, put everything back together, put the chair back, reverse all the steps. Luckily I know how it goes back together. That pretty much worked.
Well, I managed to get the cover back on. It has much more foam in it. I'm scared to try it, but I gotta try it, so let's try it. That's not horrible. It does not feel uncomfortable at all, which is a plus in a chair. Definitely has more padding than before, which is obvious because I stuffed twice the amount in. I think that's going to work. So yay. So that means I have less to throw out from the old one. If anybody has watched this channel by now, you know I try and reuse things versus just throwing them out if I can. So now I just have to take those things out of the wood, that little bit of foam, and and the pad. So since I put the other foam in, I tore the info off that and stuck that in there too. So that's pretty good for extra stuff as compared to a whole foam seat, and this is more usable. Time will tell on whether or not those staples hold. This is not a high-use chair. This is my garage chair. So it's for sitting in the garage or, resting and stuff when I'm in the middle of projects, or if my wife comes out and she wants to use a chair, she sometimes uses that. So I think it will be fine. The fact that this pulls down definitely helps with those pieces. I mean, that definitely makes that tighter, but it also helps keeping it from just bowing up. Time will tell if it's how reliable and such it is over time, but it's better than it was, which is good. I didn't screw anything up that I couldn't fix, which is also good. And I throw away less, which is always good. I think that's a success.